All right, Shalom Akim. All praise goes to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach Kodash. Double honors goes unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, from whom I learned the truth, and much love and peace and blessings goes out to all the hopeful elect that are teaching the word of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai in truth and in sincerity. So this is going to be a lesson, which I'm not sure of the title right now, but I want to go into how basically the scriptures are the answer to today's problems, but specifically the sexual market, if you will, the male and female relations. Because today we live in a society that oppresses men and uplifts females, right? Everyone's oppressed underneath the so-called white man, but you know who's at the bottom of the bottom? Men. Who's at the bottom is men, and who's at the bottom of the bottom is you Israelite men, all right? Because the situation you find yourselves in is, of course, as you grow up as a man, you become a young man, you're a teenager in your 20s, you desire, of course, to get with women, right? But then quickly you find out that the situation is deplorable. All the odds are stacked up against you when it comes to you wanting to have a woman for yourself, as far as having a wife, having the kids, and all that shit. And the reason being is because of how this whole thing, the male-female relations are regulated. Because at any given moment, if you don't please your woman and she doesn't like what you do and blah, 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 she can leave you. And if you get married to her contractually, according to Esau's court system, she can leave you and take half of what you got and take your kids. If you decide to have children with a woman, 9 times out of 10, if y'all break up, the kids are going with her. And because of all the loopholes and, because as a man, you can't fight for yourself, so to speak, to get your children. That's not impossible. But due to the amount of loops and all this stuff, you have to, the hoops you got to jump through to be on top of your situation, it caused a lot of men to just say, fuck it. So that's why in the recent years, for past 5, 6, 7 years, you had a movement called MGTOW, men going their own way. Because men have finally woken up and in general to this society, has found out that this is messed up. It's a messed up situation. Men got the short end of the stick, and so on and so forth. These women, they're allowed to do as they please. Oh, and don't, you can't even speak about having control over your woman. Telling her what to do, telling her to stop twerking, telling her to not go out on ladies' night, telling her to not spend up all your money, etc., etc. And the reason why I'm going into this is because, as you see, you got this brother, his name is Coach Greg Adams. I subscribe to his channel. He goes into a lot of this information which I'm speaking of, and it gears up a lot of game for the young man, if you will, because a lot of older jakes out there, you already privy to the nonsense of the woman. But this is just what time we're in, and part of this is really because the truth is going out. Because starting back with the elders and apostles, the elders and apostles have been on the scene. The elders and apostles of a Great Millstone have been on the scene since 2008, and they've been teaching the truth going back to the 1980s, right? So they've been, the apostles and elders, you could say, were like the first MGTOWs, if you want to say that, because they've been warning our people about the wickedness of the woman, but men in general kind of caught on to this wave, and they formed a movement called the MGTOW. A lot of these guys are just, a lot of them are Edomites and jakes that aren't in the truth, but the things that they say are of the truth. Like, a lot of times we can take pointers from certain Stoics in the ancient world. So these guys are kind of like the modern day Stoics, if you will. And, I enjoy their content personally, but specifically what this guy is going into on this video is the bait and switch marriage. How basically you get the short end of the stick when it comes to marriage as a man, right? because of the things that I explained. And you can check out this video for yourself. I won't play it, but I just wanted to pull this up to show you the source and like the inspiration of what my video is about. So the thing about it is where it comes into prophecy and the spirit of what the scriptures is. The scriptures are the answer, right? Because when you look into the ancient world, when you look into how things are supposed to be, right? Men are supposed to be, the Bible is run by a patriarchy. Our ancestors were run by a patriarchy where men called the shots. Men controlled their households. Men had the ability to tell their wife what to do. And if a wife didn't want to listen to you, you could put stripes on her. You could put certain punishments upon her, or you can get another woman, you know? And if she at any point left you to go deal with another man, guess what that meant? That was a death sentence, okay? Because that's adultery according to the Bible. Whenever a man sleeps with a married woman, whenever a married woman steps out on her husband, that's adultery, and that's a crime worthy of death. But due to this modern rulership, due to the so-called white man being in power, the laws aren't enforced, okay? So with all that being said, I want to go to the scriptures because the scriptures are the answers to the problem. The scriptures are the answer to all problems. This is Proverbs 20:8. It says, "A king that sitteth in the throne of judgment scattereth away all evil with his eyes." You see? And that shows you that a true king is not ruling over the earth. We have a wicked king ruling the earth right now, and that's Esau, Edom. You can go into that in Job. You can find that information, Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked, right? And since there is a wicked rulership set up upon the earth, nothing but wickedness prospers. Like for example, women leaving their men to go deal with other men. By the time they're 45, they're on their third, fourth, fifth marriage. Their body count, which is the men they slept with, is in the high 70s. You know, and that's evil. But yet and true, if there was a king on the throne of judgment, evil would be scattered, right? Evil would be nullified, man. But that's not the case. So this is Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 4. It says, "Therefore the law is slacked," right? The laws when it comes to adultery, the laws when it comes to being able to put your woman in order, right? Because in the ancient world, I'm gonna say this, man. It wasn't our intention to put our hands on women. But the thing is, when your woman was out of order in the ancient world, you could whoop her ass, man. It was a common saying in the 1950s, if you want a good wife, you got to beat her. Now, the Bible doesn't necessarily advocate for violence against your wife, like you just walk in the house and beat the shit out of her. No, but definitely if she's out of order, you had the right to slap her in the mouth. And through these type of judgments being enforced, women naturally knew not to do these type of things. And plus, from a young age, a girl from a time until she's a woman, she was raised to be respectful. She was raised to be in order. She was raised with the mindset that, oh, this is my husband. I have to be with him for the rest of my life. And she understood if she left that she more than likely would be killed. You know, so there was a fear. There was a healthy fear of men inside of women in the ancient world, or even you want to go back 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 60 years ago, right? Because you wouldn't go to jail for domestic violence 60 years ago, 70 years ago, you know? It says, "For the wicked doth compass about the righteous, therefore the wrong judgment proceedeth." And that's right. That's why you got the near billionaire, Dr. Dre, his wife divorced him and is asking for half of his shit. So now his funds go all the way back down to 500 million. Here was that man worked his ass off to get his accumulation of wealth. But yet because a woman becomes discontented, half of his shit is gone. You see what I mean? So that's wrong judgment. And here it is, Esau sits as the mediator between the man and the woman. And he allows this to happen. So that's wrong judgment. So let's go to a few other scriptures. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 19, and verse 3. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempted him, and saying unto him, Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? Right. So they were asking him this question, and technically, according to the law, you could do this, but the higher understanding is that's not right, because Yahushua explained it. It says, And he answered and said unto them, Have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female, and said, For this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and twain shall be one flesh. Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore the Most High hath joined together, let no man put asunder. Because you are, as a man, you shouldn't be handle that carelessly, as far as putting your wife away, right? Because what? It was the Most High himself that put you two together. These things aren't just circumstantial. Everything that happens on the earth is for a reason. So when you get a wife, it's the Most High gave you her, honestly speaking. It says, They say unto him, Why did Moses give a commandment to give writing of divorcement and to put her away? He saith unto them, Moses, because the hardness of your heart suffered you to put away your wives. But from the beginning it was not so. And that, see, look, it's very similar to the situation we have today. Men in the ancient world, they divorced their wives, but I can almost guarantee you it's not at the rate it is now, because women now have the power to divorce you. And when you look among all the divorce cases in America, 70% of all divorces are initiated by the woman, okay? And that's what happens when you give women power, man. That's what happens when you give women some type of authority. They should not have authority. Only authority they should have is over the children in their household. And even when it comes to that, that authority is given to them by their husbands, whatever they could and cannot do. It says, And I say unto you, Whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication. So that's technically the only cause in which you're supposed to put away your wife. And shall marry another, committeth adultery. And whoso marrieth her which is put away doth commit adultery. So you're not even supposed to be having these concept of a stepdad and a stepmom and all that shit. Well, I should more so say a stepdad. Right? Because you ain't supposed to be marrying a woman that's put away. Because the scriptures also go into the Apostle Paul how if you and your woman supposed to be separated, you're supposed to pray and so forth, and then at some point be reconciled. So y'all come back together. Because really a lot of times when men and women separate, or when your woman call herself trying to leave you, is for petty bullshit. She's in her emotions and so forth, man. But hey, that's what happens, man. That's what happens in this society, But yeah, it's fucked up, man. Leviticus 20:10. It says, And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. You see that? So an adulterer and an adulteress are supposed to die according to the law. So can you imagine how much less divorce and how much less what they call infidelities would happen in this society if this law was pushed? There would be much less evil, because look, it only took a few of them death sentences to go out, and there would be much less adultery. You know what I mean? Because that's the whole point of these sentences unto death and certain different judgments, is that the congregation will learn from this and not do it. And that's an effective method, And in most states in the United States, right, it's a death sentence to actually kill a cop. You actually will get put to death for doing that. So people ain't willy-nilly about killing cops. Just like they show you, it was this one movie I was watching, I forget the name. But they show you in the beginning they were committing a robbery, and basically they had to end up, they ended up killing some cops, and which they did that unintentionally because that's what they didn't want to do. That they were just trying to rob this place, and they said, man, they were messed up about it because they was, man, now we're cop killers now, and they know what comes with that. You would get put to death for that. You would be on death row. So that's something that people try to avoid, but that's not in the modern person's mind. Hey, people speak freely about committing adultery now. They have no shame about doing that act. Hey, and it goes like the scripture I read, the laws are slacked because there is a wicked man and ruler. There's a wicked people in rulership. Okay? So this is Romans chapter 7, verse 2. It says, for the woman which hath a husband is bound by the law to her husband as long as he liveth. Now, understand this. We're not dealing with the modern concept of marriage, man. When you have a woman, you dealing with her, you having sex, that's your wife. So as long as you are alive, she's bound to you. It says, but if the husband be dead, she is loosed from the law of her husband. So the only way possible for a woman to actually step out is if you die, if you're actually dead. Okay, it says, so if then, while her husband liveth, she be married to another man, she shall be called an adulteress. You see? You got women getting remarried all the damn time, whether husbands are alive. My own damn parents went through that shit. You know, and there's plenty of examples among celebrities and so forth. None is coming off the top of my head. But, this guy that played in the NFL, man, I forgot his name, but he recently got divorced. She actually filed for divorce from him. And back in the day, I believe she was in the 90s, she was Martin Lawrence's ex-wife. And then she married this simp for that played for the NFL, and now she's divorcing his ass. You see what I'm saying? It says, but if her husband be dead, she is free from the law, so that she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man. So there you have it. That's off. Remarrying and remarrying and all that stuff. That's off. That's an unhealthy culture, man. Nothing positive comes out of that. It just temporarily appeases the emotions of women, and then they turn around and get divorced all over again with their second and third and fourth husband and all that shit. Because women are emotional. They don't think for the long term. They're very short-minded. All right. So this is because look, man, on the reverse side, these women get to do whatever the hell they want to do. They twerk and they curse men out. They try to fight men. They're doing whatever they want to do, man. But the thing about it is, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is gonna raise up men and place value upon them again. And that starts with the Israelite man of the elect. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is going to place a great deal of importance on the Israelite man once again. And that's when these women are going to see it. And for a lot of them, it's going to be too late, because in that time, there's going to be great judgment being poured out. And that's what's going to make a woman cleave to you. But really, a lot of those women that was playing games, all twerking in the club, got 5-6 baby daddies, very disrespectful to men, or they're into the homosexual lifestyle. All those women are going to get put to death. The only women really that's going to get saved, and I'm speaking about in America, the women that's going to get saved are virgins, decent women, and sisters. You know, for the women that the Lord ends up saving, that had that little shred of wickedness, and he might save you, the Lord going to jack you up. Yeah, the Lord is going to jack you up and purge that whole behavior out of you, so you can actually deal with a man of the Lord when everything goes down. Because it says here in Isaiah chapter 13 and 12, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. So a man's value is going to skyrocket in the times to come. And it's not talking about any man, because you have certain men in this society that have value due to what? Their resources, have millions of dollars and blah, blah, blah. But the thing about it is, the word of the Most High is the most precious thing on the earth. And the thing, the stock that's in this truth is going to basically rise to the top. To where if you have this word within you, you're going to have food, you're going to have shelter, you're going to have water. And those things are going to be high value commodities, because it's going to be a famine out here. You have CNN earlier this year warned about biblical famines. What the hell are these women going to do in that time? They're going to resort to being women again. Being the damsels in distresses. But, the spirit is going to be on men to see through certain women's bullshit, because the women that was all, I'm gonna just put it like that. The men are gonna see through the bullshit, and the women that ain't right, hey, even though you try to humble yourself, the Most High is gonna still destroy you, because the Most High knows you ain't right. The Most High knows that that's just an act. Okay, so let's go to Proverbs chapter 6, verse 23. It says, "For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs are the instruction, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life." So that's basically the instructions contained within the scriptures, right? They are the way of life. So just speaking on the male-female relations, how to a certain age you're supposed to get married, right? Because that's a doctrine in the world that a lot of men and women think, or a lot of people think, that they're not even supposed to be dealing with the opposite sex. And then within that, you got, people out of order. These women out of order. You got men being simps, thinking, oh, happy wife, happy life. You got men that think they're beneath their wife, man. But the thing is, the scriptures reproves that. And when you follow this, it's life unto you. It's healing. Okay, so ultimately when Yahushua comes back, and when you have no other choice, and him and the 144,000 are enforcing these laws unto death or severe punishment, that's when society is going to start flourishing. That's when there's going to be less depression and anxiety and mental illness in the earth. That's when people are going to get their fair share of land and resources and all these different things, because this is what the law is about. This is what these scriptures are about. Fairness, judgment, justice, man. Okay? Not equality, but balance. Okay? So all praises goes to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Wakakodash, and Shalom.